Namo Namo Aniruddhaya Hishikeshendriyatmane Namah Paramahamsaya Purnaya Nibratatmane Swarga Pavarga Dwaraya Nityam Suchi Sade Namah Namah Hiranya Viryaya Chaturhotraya Tantave. Okay, so this part of the session, which would lead to the concluding aspects of our 3-session seminar, we want to look at Mantra Shastra. Mantra Shastra means there is a whole body of knowledge which governs the use of mantras. So some of you who have seen the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, the video rendering, and you find Arjun saying mantras and releasing the arrows, and then you find Lord Ram and Lakshman saying mantras, releasing the arrows. This whole prospect of using mantras as weapons, using mantras to achieve things, it has a whole purpose and it also has a whole body of knowledge. There's a body of knowledge. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to show as to how our knowledge for the last 2 days, which is last night and 2 sessions in the morning, how I can culminate with understanding as to how a mantra can act. How is it that when you chant a mantra, that mantra modifies karma? How is it possible? So first of all, we established the knowledge that we are all made of elements, the 5 basic elements. We connected the 5 basic elements, which is earth, water, fire, air, and ether, to the 9 planets. We mapped them, and we said that this is the mapping where the planets practically are in charge of that particular element in the universe. So if the planet wants you to act, all it has to do is just change the composition or the increase or decrease the nature of how you're composed of mentally and physically. The elements. Because you're made of elements and they control the elements. So they can distort, they can make it, make it not available. You can see but not see, they can cover your eyes and you can't see and you can't act. Sometimes you see, you have information but you can't act, because someone is blocking you at a subtle level. The planets can do all of that through the elements. Now we need to understand that when we chant a mantra, how are we modifying karmic reactions? What is it that happens when you chant a mantra that the karmic reactions get modified? This is the map. The astrological chart is the map through which everything has to happen. Any activity that we engage in this world will have an impact on the astrological chart. Positives will have an impact positively on the chart, negatives negatively on the chart. Everything is going to come and resonate with the chart. It is going to happen, 100%, guaranteed. So let's understand mantras, and we will take our understanding. We will use a few examples. It will be quite exciting to see how this is being arranged by the Lord. It's really exciting to see how the Lord has arranged everything. It's just quite fascinating to see it. So how many syllables does the Mahamantra have? How many words does the Mahamantra have? No, words. Count the number of words. 16 words. Correct. 16 words. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. 8 for Krishna and 8 for Krishna's name is Rama. So 16. The number of words in the mantra, you need to chant that many rounds for the mantra to work. Simple, straightforward. This is Mantra Shastra. This is how they have designed it. If you have a 16-word mantra, minimum 16 rounds is required for efficacy. So you can chant 16, you can chant 32, you can chant 48, you can chant 64. Multiples of 16 are required. Now, how many malas do you need to chant if the mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? How many malas do you have to chant? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. How many malas?
4.
4 malas. You can chant 4, 8, 12, 16, but minimum 4. How about Om Namo Narayanaya? 3 malas. Minimum 3. How about Om Vishnave Namaha? Om Vishnave Namaha. 3. Simple. Now, the number of words in the mantra is the number of malas that you need to chant for it to work. The multiples. Every day. This is bare minimum. This is the first principle that you have to learn of Mantra Shastra. That is how we have the 16 rounds, means 16 malas, 100%. 16 words and 16 malas. How many syllables does the Mahamantra have? Syllables. 32 syllables. So it is 16 words and 32 syllables. Of the 16 words, how many houses of the zodiac exist? 12. So you subtract 12 from 16. What is the remainder? 4. So first of all, take the number of words in the mantra, remove 12 if it is more than 12, and the remainder will tell you which house in the zodiac is the mantra going to go and receive energy from. What is it going to do first? It will tell you which house it is going to. So how many malas? 16. How many words? 16. You back out 12 houses of the zodiac. What is the remainder? 4. So where does the effect of the Mahamantra go to first? The 4th house of the chart. It goes to house number 4 of the chart first. In your chart, it will go to your 4th house first. What is the 4th house? Mother, house, and what else? The sense of happiness. Did I not say that? The 4th house is the sense of happiness. So the Mahamantra, when you chant the Mahamantra goes to the 4th house, takes out the amount of energy we are putting into activities in the 4th house, makes a transformation there. So our sense of happiness completely changes when we chant the holy names. Does everybody agree? What we thought was happiness changes, and we change our activity to suit the new standard of happiness. Our concept of sukha, because we have so many different concepts of where we became happy from. But once we start chanting, that starts changing. Our sense of happiness starts changing. Do you notice this? So, energy is taken from the 4th house. So we stop activity which are not aligned, and we start activity which are aligned with the Mahamantra. Do you notice that? The energy gets taken out from our sense of happiness. Our pursuit of happiness changes. We stop acting in ways previously like we used to do, and then we start new ways of wanting to seek happiness. This change comes about. So, 16 words minus 12 houses of the zodiac. Remainder is 4. That is where the mantra is going to go to receive energy. It is going to take out and transform that part of your life. Now, what happens when you take, what is the energy that is taken out when you chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? Which house does it go to receive and transform? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Again the 4th house. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya also goes to the 4th house of the zodiac, transforms our sense of happiness, changes it. So because it goes to the 4th house for receiving energy. Do you understand how this is constructed? The mantra goes to the particular house and it transforms, it takes energy from there transforms the activities of the house, your own perception changes. Fourth house. Now, this is getting a little bit more interesting. Now, how many syllables? You said 32 syllables in the Maha Mantra. Yes, everybody? 32 syllables. Hare Krishna. You count like that, it is 32. Yeah? So, out of 32, how many times can you take out 12, and what will be the remainder after you take out multiples of 12? Because there are 12 houses of the zodiac. If you take out multiples of 12 from 32, what will be the remainder? 8. Because 2 times 12, 24 gets taken out, you're left with 8. So, after taking energy from the fourth house, after modifying our activity of obtaining happiness, which is the fourth house, it takes the remainder of the energy which is there after modifying a sense of happiness, and it goes to the eighth house, which is the remainder of the number of syllables. The number of syllables, the remainder is the eighth house. It goes to the eighth house. Does it make sense? And what is the eighth house? I said this is our past. This is our past. So the complete sinful reactions and all kinds of karma of our entire past gets taken out by the Maha Mantra, because it goes from the fourth house, modifies our behavior, modifies our sense of happiness, takes energy which has been captured by the modification of our life, goes to the eighth house, starts taking out all the old karmic reactions and throws us out. This is Mantra Shastra. So first we understood where the energy is going to come from. So we found out number of words in the mantra after removing 12. If the words are less than 12, then we take whatever the words are. Number of words, the number. Then we found out what is the number of syllables. We removed multiples of 12 and we used the remainder to find out where is the mantra going to make modifications and changes, the eighth house. Now, where is the deity going to be of the mantra? This is also a calculation that can be done from the mantra itself. Where is the deity going to be to receive in the chart? Where is the deity going to sit? Because every mantra has a deity. The Maha Mantra has the divine couple. Where are they going to be when you chant the mantra, when they receive? How do they receive the mantra and your efforts and so on? What is the first house where the energy is taken? 4. Where does the energy go to remove the old karma? 8. Count from 4 to 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 is the number. Now you go to the 8th house and count 5 from there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The deity sits in the 12th house. They receive from us. Whoever is sitting in the 12th house are receiving from us. We are giving to them. So the divine couple sit in the 12th house and they are receiving from us. We are giving to them when we chant. So we end up serving them. Do you notice that the motivation for the mantra is you end up serving? And our karma completely changes. It gets transformed. It completely changes. Do we see that? Now let's do the same exercise for a few more mantras so that you become familiar. I want to choose 3 mantras, and these are mantras from the Narayana Kavach, which is found in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? The Narayana Kavach is basically the shield given to Indra when he's fighting with Asura. So this particular shield has 3 mantras. What are the 3 mantras? Om Vishnave Namaha. Now let us do and see what happens with Om Vishnave Namaha. How many words in Om Vishnave Namaha? 3 words. So where is the energy going to be taken for transformation? The 3rd house of the zodiac, the chart. The 3rd house is our need for aggression, parakrama, our need for achieving things. Energy is getting taken out from there. How many syllables in Om Vishnave Namaha? Om Vishnave Namaha. 6. Om Vishnave Namaha.
Aha is 1.
Huh?
The aha is just 1 syllable.
Yeah, Namaha. Nama. It's actually Nama. Namaha. Nama, actually. When you write it in Devanagari, in Sanskrit, you can see it more clearly. It is 6 syllables. Om Vishnave Namaha. So energy gets taken from the 3rd house. So for example, in this chart, energy will get taken from here in Capricorn, 3rd house. The whole concept of wanting to be aggressive, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, all of that energy gets transformed. So action becomes modified if you chant Om Vishnave Namaha. And this mantra takes all this energy, and how many syllables does the mantra have? 6. So since it does not have more than 12, you don't need to remove anything. You can just keep it as it is. So where does it go? From the 3rd house, it goes to the 6th house of the zodiac. What does Om Vishnave Namaha do? It goes to the 6th house and it removes all kinds of weaknesses, because weaknesses in the chart are seen in the 6th house. All kinds of weaknesses, enmity gets removed when Om Vishnave Namaha is chanted, because it goes to the 6th house. Does it make sense? From 3rd house to 6th house. So karma gets changed in this manner. Now, let's do Om Namo Narayanaya. How many syllables in Om Namo Narayanaya? It is called Ashtakshari. Ashta is 8, Akshari is syllables. It's an 8-syllable mantra. How many words does it have? Om Namo Narayanaya. So from the 3rd house to the 8th house. The Narayana mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, it takes energy from the 3rd house, goes directly to the 8th house and makes modification of the past karmic reactions. The person becomes completely free of all kinds of karmic reactions by chanting this mantra. Where does the deity sit? 3rd house to 8th house. Can anybody count? Let's count. Count from here. This is the 3rd house, where the moon is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 houses. So energy is taken and it's traveling 6 houses. It is being deposited into the 8th house. Modifications are being made of past karmic reactions. Where do you think the deity is going to sit? How do you know that? What did I say in the past? Since it has traveled 6 houses for depositing energy, we count again from the 8th house, 6 houses. What does it bring us to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lord Narayan sits in the Lagna, protecting the person. Literally. Can you see it? He sits in the Lagna. 6 houses, he comes and sits in the Lagna. The deity is sitting. The moment you chant, the deity is sitting in the Lagna there. Do you see how powerful the system is, how it has been constituted, and how powerfully it makes changes? So by chanting Om Vishnave Namaha, Lord Indra removes all his weaknesses. By chanting Om Namo Narayanaya, Lord Narayan himself comes and sits and provides protection in the Lagna, and he removes all the past weaknesses and the sinful reactions. Then the last mantra of the Kavash, yes?
Can you explain one more time? So the first house is decided with the words in the mantra, the second one with the syllables, and the third category. I didn't quite understand.
Let's go again. Let's use the Mahamantra again, so this way there's no confusion. First are the number of words in the mantra. The number of words in the mantra tell you how many malas are you supposed to chant. The second piece of information from the number of words is you can find out which area of your life is going to be modified, because you're going to provide and surrender certain areas of your life so that the energy can be modified and it can be used for removing karmic reactions. So 16 words means you remove 12. That leaves you with a remainder of 4. So you are going to change your concept of happiness. And you're going to change your life to modify your concept of happiness, and you're going to give that time and energy to Krishna. So the energy is going to be taken from there, and it is going to go to... Now we're going to talk about the syllables in the mantra, the second step. So how many syllables do we have in the Mahamantra? 32. So if you remove multiples of 12, what is the remainder? 8. Correct? So 12 plus 12, 24 gets removed, then you are left with 8. So 8 is the target of the mantra. So it goes to a place to remove energy, and then goes to another place to drop it and modify and make changes completely. So it goes to the 8th house. The 8th house is the past. It goes there to make modifications and to renew and give us a new leash in life. It practically modifies the 8th house. This is the second step. Where does the energy go? Now the third step is to determine where does the deity sit to receive the mantra. 12th house. So 8th house, 4th house. From the 4th to the 8th, if you count, that gives us 5. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. Then you again count 5 from 8, it gives you 12. So the deity is sitting in the 12th house. Does everybody get it? It's very simple steps. The first is the number of words, tells you where the energy is coming from. Second is the number of syllables, it tells you where the energy is going. And then the third is the starting point, where the energy comes from, to where the energy is being dropped, count the number of houses, same number gives you where the deity is going to sit. Yes?
12th house you said was sleep, right? So what does it mean?
Well, there are many modifications. Sleep is also a matter of giving, isn't it? In the sense that people sleep and literally give rest and get them rest and so on and so forth. It's practically a matter of giving to the body's demands in one sense. The body is resting. It's also a matter of giving up action, but the 12th house is also the matter of giving. It is giving. What you give is seen in the 12th house, or your ability to give is seen in the 12th house. So the deity is sitting in the 12th house. So Zimon, can you understand that, no?
Yeah, so the 32 syllables is you go one circle 12 houses, then another circle 12 houses, and then...
The remainder.
Okay.
You only take the remainder.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Because you can't operate with anything more than 12 houses, so you're backing out 12 and taking the remainder. Okay, so we studied Om Vishnave Namaha. Where does the deity sit in Om Vishnave Namaha? We never saw that. Where does he sit? We take energy from the 3rd house. There are 6 syllables in Om Vishnave Namaha. It goes to the 6th house. So 3rd to the 6th is 4 houses away. 3, 4, 5, 6. So where does the deity sit in the chart?
9th house.
Exactly. So it's an amazing mantra where Lord Vishnu sits in the 9th house and guides the person in Dharma. You see, the weakness is removed from the 6th house, and then he sits in the 9th house and receives worship. He says, I'm sitting here, and he guides the person in Dharma. It's amazing.
We also see that mantra when we put tilak marks on the body, right?
Right.
So,
Right. Of course, yes. It's one of the mantras. So we looked at Om Vishnave Namaha, we looked at Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya is the equivalent mantra for the Sri Sampradaya. Just as we have in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, the Mahamantra, the Sri Sampradaya has an equivalent mantra which is their main mantra, which is Om Namo Narayanaya. It also offers the same benefit, but the devotee is aspiring to go to the Vaikuntha planets. He wants to be with Narayan, who is Krishna in his very opulent authoritarian form as a king. So this mantra has 8 syllables. Om Namo Narayanaya. It has 3 words. So you take energy from the 3rd house, 8 syllables. The energy goes to the 8th house and clears up the past karmic reactions. 3rd to the 8th house. How many words, how many houses is it? 6. So 6 houses from the 8th house is the Lagna. Lord Narayan sits in the Lagna. So, with the first mantra, Lord Vishnu was sitting in the 9th house. But the second mantra, Lord Narayan is sitting in the Lagna, in the ascendant itself, of the Narayan Kavach. And what is the third mantra of the Narayan Kavach? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. How many words in Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? Four words. Again, the energy is going to be taken from the fourth house of the zodiac. The sense of happiness of the individual changes. Param Drishtva Nivartate. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said Param Drishtva Nivartate, where the devotee develops a higher taste. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Again, the devotee will develop a higher taste, like the Maha Mantra. They develop a higher taste, and then they dedicate and put the energy for Krishna to use. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. How many syllables does it have? Exactly. So, 12. This mantra goes to the 12th house and clears up all sense of losses and clears up our ability to offer ourselves in complete surrender. This is a mantra for surrender. 12th house is the house of surrender. So, it goes to the 12th house and it clears up all the obstacles that one may have in surrender. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 12th house. How many houses has the mantra traveled? 4th to the 12th. How many houses has it traveled? 9 houses. So where does the deity sit in this mantra, in the chart? 8th house. The 8th deity is sitting in the 8th house. Vasudeva is sitting in the 8th house, receiving worship. He is completely clearing up all the sinful reactions of the devotee by sitting there. Can you see how powerful and how amazing it is in terms of the way they have designed it? That it is completely in line with scripture. Now, in addition to this, what we do in Jyotish is we try and resolve issues by using different mantras. When we look at a particular person and they have an issue in a certain zodiac sign, we find out who owns the sign. If a certain planet owns the sign, we find out what is the Vishnu mantra for that planet, so that we can give the Vishnu mantra to the devotee so that they can resolve the issue that is happening in that particular zodiac sign. So this is one way of giving the remedies as well. Yes.
So with the Maha Mantra, you said that it takes energy from the place where we understand happiness, so we change our definition of happiness, and it goes to the place where we remove past karma.
Nija dosha, it is called, all the prarabdha, all kinds of karmic reactions are situated in the 8th house, or everything gets taken out.
And then Radha and Krishna sit in the 12th house, where it's our ability to give. So I was thinking, is that where we are asking to be engaged in service, of our ability to give?
Exactly. We want to give, so that our ability to give gets transformed as well.
Because that's what we're told the Maha Mantra means, right?
Literally. Our Maha Mantra basically changes our perception of happiness. Param Drishva Nivartate. We completely stop certain activities, we begin certain activities, it changes how we eat. People derive happiness from eating, sleeping, mating, defending, in one sense. And when you come in touch with the Maha Mantra, when you come in touch with Siddhanta, you completely change what you eat, your perception of, coming in touch with the opposite gender. Everything changes. Everything changes. Then, since that is aligned, the energy from there, the dedication is taken, and you resolve issues of the past. The mantra goes to the 8th house of the zodiac and starts removing all the garbage which has been collected over millions of lifetimes at a very deep level. Yes?
How is it then that different individuals have different experiences when they chant the mantra? Some people, they may chant for many, many years and they never experience really. And some devotees, they chant but for the first time, they have such an amazing experience that they become very attached. So is it because also of Sukriti or credits from the past? Or?
Sukriti, yes, absolutely. Sukriti, and then there's also a different Vedic experience because of the fact that there could be planetary positions which prevent people from becoming absorbed. It can be that they are at a level where they can't really become absorbed fully and they have to struggle a little bit more for them to penetrate the modes. They struggle with it. It changes. Every individual can have their own experience, but I'm giving you the fundamental structure of the mantra as to what it's supposed to do. So if I want to resolve an issue of the third house, if I want to resolve an issue of the seventh house, eighth house, I have specific mantras for it, which I have a certain number of syllables, so that I can go and then that particular energy gets resolved there. Yes?
What if you have a mantra with like, I don't know, 20 words and 40 syllables?
Well, basically you back out multiples of 12 to arrive at the syllables and the words.
Okay.
If you have 20 words, then you have an 8-word mantra. 40 syllables, you again take out multiples of 12 and you're left with 4 syllables. Literally. Yeah. Yes?
I'm assuming the personality of the mantra is also important.
Of course, the deity of the mantra is very important. Normally, when we chant the mantra of a deity, we develop some qualities associated with the deity, that's for sure. Some qualities associated with the deity would develop. Yes, Prabhu.
Why it happens that during the practice of bhakti yoga, first of all we are attached to one deity, and then after some time we go to another deity. For example, in the past we might be attached to Shishigo at the time, and now we are attached to Shishirada and then maybe we change to Krishna Balaram. Why did that happen?
Well, basically, the mantra, Mahamantra, contains the seed of our relationship with Krishna. Since the seed of that relationship with Krishna is to be revealed, when we chant the Mahamantra very steadily, when we put our efforts into the Mahamantra steadily, and we try and chant slowly, trying to develop a relationship, the Mahamantra unfolds and starts revealing the relationship that we have with Krishna slowly and steadily. So sometimes there's a perception that, oh, maybe I have to relate to Krishna in this particular, deity form. Then later on, the perception changes because there's purity and a greater level of chanting gets done, and then the clarity comes in as to what is the real relationship. Then the relationship changes. So that is how these things happen. This should not be confused with the initial confusion which people may have that I'm attracted to Gaurnitai, I'm attracted to Krishna Balaram, I'm attracted to Radha Krishna. This should not be confused with that. I'm saying that can also happen because of our mind, because it keeps changing and wanting to attract and, we get attached and detached from different deities. What I'm telling you is eventually, over an entire lifetime, someone can develop an attachment for a certain form of deities, and then they keep chanting, and then they develop, finally when they reach the conclusion of their sadhana, then they really clearly know as to who the deities are for them to be able to relate to.
This can be also read on the chart?
To some extent, but generally we don't go there. I just don't touch it. Because some extent, yes, but we don't go there.
And another question is that Mahamantra should be chanted 16 rounds, 32 rounds, 64 rounds, and then it's most powerful. So if you chant 16 rounds and you chant 32 rounds, which is most powerful? Is it?
Okay, so you're saying since we have the 16, 12, 64, 32,
Yes.
you end up chanting 20 rounds, for example, is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, more is better. More is better. There's no doubt.
Okay.
There's no doubt. So anything above 16 is good. Yeah, it's fine. 16 and above is good. As long as you have an attraction to chant, then put in your absorption, you can chant as many rounds as you want. Anything else? Any other question? Yes, Prabhu.
We mainly chant the Maha Mantra, and is it also good to add some other mantras like Om Vasudevaya or?
See, there are two explanations given. Number one, it is easy if you just focus on one to develop a deep sense of attachment to the process. It is easy if you just chant one mantra to develop a deep sense of attachment. There's no doubt. In the manner of wanting to improvise and remove certain obstacles, one can depend exclusively on the Mahamantra, accept the results of the Mahamantra, and say that all my obstacles, everything needs to completely be removed by the Mahamantra, which is a perfectly bona fide and best way to do it, because then you're dedicated to one mantra given by the Parampara and you're not moving away from it. But some people, they struggle literally with being able to do that because they have certain challenges which they need to be resolved. Then at that point in time, giving them an alternative to fix this problem temporarily, then to come back fully to dedicate themselves to the Mahamantra can be employed. That is also, of course, that can be taken. But it is a matter of judgment, it's a matter of thought.
Is there a special sequence? What comes first? What comes next? What mantra comes first?
That depends on the devotee. Sometimes they feel that if they chant the other mantra, then their mind becomes more steady, then they can chant the Mahamantra more effectively. It depends. Say, for example, we have the Gayatri. For second initiated devotees, we have the Gayatri. We have 7 different Gayatris which we chant. And the Gayatri itself helps the devotee chant the Mahamantra. It's a supplementary mantra, so it's not a detraction, it's a supplementary mantra. In a similar fashion, there can be other Vishnu mantras that can be chanted if the devotee has an affinity towards the deity form, and then that deity basically helps him become more dedicated to chant the Mahamantra. If anybody is a part of this movement, any form of Vishnu mantra will ultimately lead them to worship and fall in line with Lord Chaitanya's mission. Because that is how the universe is designed when the Yuga Dharma is being practiced by the devotee. If they have knowledge, then they would come back to the Yuga Dharma again and again. That's what they would do. Yeah. So for example, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was given the Narasimha mantra by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He was not given Mahamantra initially. He was initiated into the Narasimha mantra when he was a teenager. So for many, many years, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur chanted the Narasimha mantra exclusively. And then, when he found Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he got initiated into the Krishna mantras, which is the Gayatris, and he got initiated and he began. So the point which I'm trying to make is, the Acharyas have an understanding that this will help them reach a certain platform. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, what happened? He chanted Lord Narasimha's mantra for several years, and he ended up authoring many, many books on astrology. You see, because the Agni came up, he started writing on astrology, he published so many books on astrology. He's a very capable astrologer. So he was chanting the Narasimha mantra first for a few years. He was initiated into it. And then he was given Harinam and every other mantra. And this was because in some cases, the deity of Lord Narasimhadev was supposed to guide the personality to reach that particular situation and for him to be able to move forward. So in a similar fashion, you can think of other things. Yes?
I think you've mentioned today at the beginning of the session we would look at some charts of some personalities.
Yeah, but I was thinking I'm not very well prepared for that.
Because it would be very...
very nice?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make an attempt then. I want to see if we can, because maybe we can remove this. Can you unplug that, please? Yeah. So this way I can go into my drive and... Can you open it, please? Is this clear? You can't see it from there, can you?
Yeah.
Is this clear? This is Srila Prabhupada's chart. This is Srila Prabhupada's chart. What is interesting is for you to observe where is his ascendant. His ascendant is right here. Do you see it? It is in Sagittarius. The sign of Sagittarius is quite fiery by nature. He was quite fiery. He was quite a personality. You know, it was not mild. He could be, you know, he could make a lot of grown people cry. So many grown young men used to cry when he used to chastise them. And he was quite small in stature. He wasn't very big, but he could chastise and people could cry. You know, that was how he was. His disciples, some of them were very well built and big. They all used to cry in front of the altar when Prabhupada used to chastise. So, he was quite a fiery person. He was quite a lot of Agni. Now, what do you see in the 9th house? Count 9 from the ascendant. You see 3 planets there, Jupiter, Sun and Ketu. Correct? There is Ju, which is Jupiter, there is Su, which is the Sun, and Ke, which is Ketu. When Jupiter and Ketu are together, this is called a Parampara Yoga. This person will act for the Parampara. When Jupiter and Ketu are together, they will act for the Parampara. Why is Jupiter Ketu called the Parampara Yoga? They will pass on knowledge. Jupiter is Guru. The deity who is associated with Ketu is Ganesh. Who wrote all the Puranas and passed on knowledge when Vyasadeva was dictating? When Vyasadeva was speaking, all this was recorded by Lord Ganesh, which is Ketu. So when Jupiter and Ketu are together, that personality will be involved in disseminating knowledge from the Parampara. So the 9th house has Jupiter and Ketu. Now you also have Jupiter and the Sun. It's a very powerful combination. Jupiter and the Sun, when they are together, it means they will build temples in the 9th house. Now, why did this astrologer, the 9th house is also the house of long distance travel. So Prabhupada traveled long distance and he started building temples. Why did the astrologer say that this boy would build temples at the age of 70? You remember the astrologer made a prediction when he was born that he will go abroad and he will build temples at the age of 70. How did he arrive at the age of 70? It was a very simple calculation for the astrologer to make. The sun, which is sitting here, every planet has a natural age when it becomes mature. The sun has 2 natural ages. It has a natural age of 48 years, it has a natural age of 70. At the age of 48, Srila Prabhupada began back to Godhead. Very significant years for his life. He began back to Godhead at the age of 48. At the age of 70, he left abroad for building temples. This is Srila Prabhupada's chart. You can see the 9th house has the house of Dharma. He is influenced by very sattvic planets. Because this Ketu does not have a head, if he is with sattvic planets, the sattvic planets will impose their qualities on him. He becomes very amenable, he becomes useful. Any questions? You desire to see a chart, I'm showing you Prabhupada's chart. We will go through a few more charts because you made me open this up. Yes?
I have heard that some astrologer told that Prabhupada didn't have past and didn't have future. He was looking at this chart and then he gave this chart to another more professional astrologer and he also was checking everything and he told he had no past and no future lives. Is it true?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of that. No. to be honest. I haven't heard this before. And I really do not know what assumptions they made to make the conclusion. But it is obvious from this that he has very sattvic planets influencing him in his activities. You can see that very clearly. It's obvious. Yes?
You said that sattvic planets are with like tamasic, or like the sattvic planets influence. But like moon was sattvic as well, and moon and Ketu together or not.
Okay. So moon and Ketu. The moon is quite weak when it is with Ketu. It can become influenced. It's very soft nature.
Okay.
Jupiter here is not like that. He can impose himself. The sun can impose himself. They're very sturdy and tough nature. So it's a matter of who is very pliant and very influential, or, you know, the moon is good when it is strong. If it is weak, it is bad.
When is it strong?
I'm sorry.
When is the moon strong?
The moon is strong in it is waxing phase, specifically the first 10 days. Yeah, and then there's the next 5 days are a little different.
Is there something that shows that Prabhupada was very committed to his Guru's mission?
Which shows that the basic influences from Jupiter and the Sun. Guru, it is there. But yeah, that particular detail is also there. But I can't go into it now because it would require that I set up more, I have to give more background and more knowledge before I can go into those aspects. It will be difficult for me to conclude that in a proper way at this time. Yeah, it is there. Any questions at all? So let's look at a few more cases of personalities. Okay, so let's look at Sridhar Maharaj, Prabhupada's godbrother. What do you see in Sridhar Maharaj's chart? Where is the ascendant? Where is the ascendant in Sridhar Maharaj's chart?
How do we know which box?
Yes. Yeah, this box is Cancer. You have to,
How do we know?
which you have to learn it. There are no shortcuts. Okay, this is Cancer. Okay, the 4th house of the zodiac. What do you see is in the ascendant for Sridhar Maharaj? Moon and exalted Jupiter. Can you imagine that this personality, what his character was? Huh? Moon and Jupiter. Absolutely very powerful sattvic planets, very powerful personality. Moon and Jupiter. Can you see it? The principle of how these personalities were is also being observed. Now let us look at Jayananda Prabhu. Do you remember Jayananda? Yes.
So it means what happened in their life, it was already predicted before they were born. It's not like some magic or coincidence.
Yeah, they were born. Yeah, they were born with credits, and it was quite obvious that they were born with immense spiritual credits, and they were supposed to do activity. So initial years, normally what happens is even the soul who is very advanced, who has come here to do some special work, they will go through life as a normal person initially. It is also there, where they will have to learn certain things, they would go through certain experiences, and by going through all these experiences, they would become more well situated in their knowledge in terms of being able to serve. So it is not so much that they are distracted, but it is more so much that initially they have to do the little exploration. Sometimes they don't need to, they just start off and then go directly into the mission. Sometimes they need the knowledge, so they are exploring a bit. But now this is a chart of Jayananda Prabhu. Everybody knows Jayananda Prabhu. He was the first person, disciple who designed the Rath Yatra cards, very dear. And we also celebrate his passing and his appearance in our calendar as festival days to be observed in certain ways. He's, I think, the only disciple, who is not a guru, who is being celebrated in that manner. Very powerful, amazing personality who passed away at a very young age, actually. Now, what do we notice in his chart in the 9th house? we see Jupiter, we see exalted Venus, and we see Mercury. So this Venus and Mercury that he has, basically, are going to give him the ability to make transformations and make things happen, which he did with his hands. He practically built the first Rath Yatra cart. But you have this Jupiter, and in the Lagna you have the Moon. Again, very sattvic planets which are influencing them, and they are acting according to that. Okay, so we can look at Mahaprabhu's chart. Now we have a Moon-Ketu combination sitting right in the Lagna, with Saturn in the 4th, Jupiter in the 5th, Venus in the 9th. He is the Kali Yuga avatar. He was born on a lunar eclipse. Everybody knows? That is why this Moon and Ketu are together. He was born on a lunar eclipse. That's why you have this Moon and Ketu together in the Lagna.
You said the moon is usually not able to overcome the tamasic.
Not this one.
Not this one.
Yeah. This is the, not this one. It's very, yeah. We don't want to jump into conclusions of a Mahaprabhu. Yeah. But he was born on an eclipse, which essentially means that the entire weakness of the Kali Yuga was taken out by him. In the sense, he's a Yuga avatar. There are many principles that govern looking at a chart. I was sharing some basic principles of looking for sattvic planets and their influence, but we can't really extend it to a point where we can practically reach conclusions consistently for all charts. So you have to have a little leeway for us to understand what is happening with other charts in as well. Say for example, Krishna's chart has an exalted moon sitting in the Lagna. Lord Rama's chart has exalted Jupiter, which is Jupiter in its most powerful state. It has the moon sitting in the Lagna. Lord Rama's chart. He was very soft-natured, Lord Rama. He is very soft-natured. I mean, he's a Kshatriya with very, very harsh in terms of the kind of strict dharma that he enforced upon himself, but very soft-natured. You know, he was wanting to forgive Rama until the very last day. You know, are you ready to seek forgiveness? Are you ready to surrender? I'm going to forgive you. I want to forgive you. No. Very last minute he was giving opportunities for the demon to come out and say, I'm okay, I want to surrender. Lord Rama is like that. Very soft-natured. Krishna is not like that. Krishna is quite difficult to understand, more complex, because it's more comprehensive in so many different ways. It's very difficult to comprehend and understand Krishna like that. Lord Ram did not have real fun killing the Asuras. Krishna had fun. So it's a different story altogether.
In the Lord, he was coming at the...
I'm sorry?
The Lord, he was coming, or he is coming at the proper time, specific time that he wants to come exactly at this moment, at this time.
Yes. Yeah, it's very highly defined. Because the Ramayana has the history, or the Ramayana has descriptions of the astrological chart of Lord Ram. Given by sage Valmiki. And sage Valmiki began writing the Ramayana even before they were born. You see, this particular katha began even before that. So all this started at that point in time. So we don't want to contaminate ourselves. We have JFK, and then we have Bill Clinton, we have Jackie Onassis, Vishnujana Swami, we can see Vishnujana Swami. He was one of Prabhupada's. It's coming up. I have to study this. I don't want to share this example because I have to study it more carefully. I haven't spent any time with this, so I can't really share much, but it was his shot. I got this from somewhere. There's a whole PowerPoint with seminar charts. I guess those would probably have this again. Okay. So any questions so far? Anything else that I can... So I think I've barely satisfied you, Simon.
It's okay.
Yeah. Because there requires to be a lot of knowledge that needs to be given before we can sit and truly take advantage of looking at charts. So what I've shared in the past 3 sessions has given you an overview, has given you a sense of how things work, but you can't really, you need more details for you to be able to really use it and to be able to absorb it and move forward. You raised your hand or someone raised your hand?
Last weekend you were speaking about that we have to make a plan for the future. For example, to put a holy name in the center, and then after some time Krishna will arrange the situation in life that we can do. So it means the karma is changing, will change in the future, or how does it work? So the karma stays, but we have another situation in the holy name in the center.
Yeah, the karma changes because you have an objective which is transcendental, and that transcendental objective can be attained where your karmic reactions will change and it will foster it. Krishna will make those changes required for you to be able to render service.
But for example, Srila Prabhupada, he had in his karma that he will go at 70 years and all that.
Yeah.
So, but his desire was also transcendental, but he had this already. And it means in our karma, if we don't have this, like spiritual path, but we desire now.
We desire now, which is the whole purpose of preaching. When you come in touch with the preacher's purpose is to build desires in the heart of the congregation. So with those desires, the preacher allows the congregation to build a future for themselves. That is the whole purpose. So they may not have it in them, but if they hear and then put their hearts into it, and because it is transcendental, then they have the ability to create a future for themselves.
So it means what we have now in the chart might change.
Exactly.
So we don't have to like stick to it 100%.
You do not need to. You just need to follow the precepts of chanting the holy names, worship, so on and so forth. Yes, we got that.
Is there a way to explain how it actually changes the influence of how it actually changes our life, these mantras or whatever activities we do, like how it actually influences the planets or the elements in our body so that we...
Yeah, which is basically what I was just wanting to say is that our fundamental creation, we are made of the units of elements. Planets are associated with those elements. When we chant specific mantras, the mantras have the ability, because they are of Krishna, they have the ability to overcome and overwhelm any arrangement which exists and be able to change our lives for the better. So, does it make sense or it doesn't? I'm trying to understand where to go with your question.
Maybe I cannot really ask it properly.
No.
Just thinking,
I think,
like,
no,
does it change, like the vibration of the mantra, does it change?
exactly. The vibration of the mantra, very good, okay. The vibration of the mantra has the ability, because it is sound, it has the ability to control and modify the other elements. The sound element is the primary element, it has control over modifying the other elements. The sound is akash, ether. And because we're chanting the mantra, the deity of the mantra, which is a person, we want to understand it more personally. The deity has the power to change anything. But we want to understand it from a conceptual point which you're trying to raise. The sound element, which is ether, has the ability to modify air, it has the ability to modify fire, it has the ability to modify water, it has the ability to modify earth. So, in our circumstance, when we chant that, all these defects which are present in the way things are arranged because of the various problems associated with our past and how these elements are arranged, the mantra can go and make modifications and make changes. Does it make sense? It is ether which changes everything else.
So one could say that by this vibration, certain elements in the body change so that the influence of the planets is not the same as it was before.
Exactly. It can be modified. It can be blocked. The planets would also give up because the purpose has been served. Either the person has suffered or they have found God. So the planets can also give up, saying, okay, we'll allow you to make the changes. These are people in the hierarchy. So they can say, okay, our hands are off you.
Thank you.
It's good that you asked the question this way. I could explain. It's good. Yes.
Do the first initiation changes karma, and how?
Does the first initiation change?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Karma?
It does.
It does, and how?
Well, basically, the way we have to understand how the initiation changes it is that the guru takes away, with the help of the parampara, the specific karmic reactions that can become an obstacle in our ability to chant the holy names. He does not take away all the karmic reactions. He takes away and gives us the ability which we don't have. So, because of our karma, we don't have the ability to chant and serve. He takes away the blocks which prevent us from chanting and serving by giving us mercy and by taking away the karmic reactions which particularly prevent us from serving and moving forward. So that is how karma changes. So it is not that he takes away everything. Imagine the guru taking away everything, then he will be on the floor if he takes away everything from all the disciples. No. It's very tiring and it can drain the person. The person can become sick. Yeah. So the point is, he takes away that which needs to be taken away so that the disciple can chant.
What happens at the second initiation?
It's a further modification of the second initiation. The second initiation is a further modification of the same principle with the same objective of assisting and wanting to qualify the disciple to serve the Sri Murti, the Archavigraha, the deity.
And the extent to which they take away your karma is based on your level of consciousness and surrender when you take initiation?
It's based on what is required for the person to chant and to move forward. See, Sri Harinam Chintamani, even the writing of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very clear. It is a responsibility of the spiritual master to determine if he is taking on qualified disciples. If the disciple is unqualified, the spiritual master suffers. So it is the responsibility of the spiritual master that you don't indiscriminately take up, but you qualify and you examine and then you take up those who are qualified to then make them disciples. Not everybody can take it up. You can't really give the Mahamantra in the sense that you can give it, but not everybody has the ability to fix themselves and chant. So that's why the reason of, that's the reason for discrimination, that's the reason for making determination. The spiritual master has to discriminate, has to see whether the disciple is ready, Is he qualified to be a part of the system? Should he even give the mantra? This is the responsibility of the spiritual master. It is not to be distributed just like that. I mean, one can chant the Mahamantra, you can do Harinam. When we talk about initiation in our line, we generally talk about second initiation. We generally don't talk about the first initiation because the first initiation can be given. The Harinam, everybody chants. It is always the second initiation which is talked about. When we use the word initiation, they refer more to the second initiation. I'm talking about tradition, not in ISKCON, but in tradition. Anything else? Okay. So it was very nice being here and being a part of the congregation and sharing whatever little we could, and hope this is of some use to you in addition to all that has been received, and I hope you flourish in your devotional service. That's a desire as well. Our prayers are with you for that purpose. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.